Welcome to CB's Podcast, a casual creative podcast where we talk about creative process, ideas, and the things we're working on. I'm Steven, and with me as always is Ralph, our co-host from Sea Beasts, which is our company, our creative studio publishing house. Today we are going to talk about, first of all, back on our regular cadence. So thanks for bearing with us when we missed an episode, or we just had a late episode. Anyway, it happens. It's going to happen another time, I'm sure. But back in our regular cadence for now. And today
we're
going to
get an episode this week, and then 1 week later instead of 2 weeks later, right? Is that how it'll work out?
It's like, this one will come out like a week and a couple days.
Yes.
After the last one did. So yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, close enough.
Yeah, because it was like Friday last time. Anyway, today we're going to talk about originality and the myth of originality. And should you try to make things that are completely original? Can you make something that's completely original? I don't know. That's what we're going to talk about. So we don't have an answer, and we're just going to kind of talk through some of our thoughts on that. But first, Ralph, what have you been up to?
Not much. Working.
All right, moving on. So, we've been doing something outside of work.
Yes.
Still.
Just yeah, that is it. Actually, I do have one thing, but I wasn't prepared because I was like, wait, are we doing topic first or the other thing?
I listened to last week's episode, and I feel like it kind of jumped in too. I feel like it was too abrupt of just like, let's go. So I was going to do like some intro stuff. Yeah. And then, if it segues into the topic, great. And then, we can fill in on any extra stuff at the end if we have other things.
Yeah, so for me, some of it is overlap with you, where we've been playing a lot of Halo. What we've been doing, we're trying to 100% the game. Steven is further along than I am. I think
just a little bit.
We've done most of it together. Two achievements left.
Yeah, just the Lasso playlist, and then the one that for completing all the achievements. So.
Yeah, and I have that one as well as a few like miscellaneous achievements that are just related to like, I don't know, beating a level on heroic without taking health damage or stuff like that. Just like random odd ones that I can just mop up whenever.
Yeah. Ralph and I like to achievement hunt, and we're kind of completionists on, I wouldn't say every game, but like certain games, I feel like I need to complete them and get 100% achievements and all the hidden things and all the whatnots. So.
Yeah. Yeah, I try to take a new, because I used to try really hard to 100% like a lot of different kinds of games. Now I filter them if I feel like the achievement list is just literally designed around wasting time.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are like ones with like excessive multiplayer achievements that are really grindy or something like that. The example that comes to mind would be Gears of War.
Oh, dude, I was just thinking about that the other day. The Seriously and Seriously 2.0. Yeah, that's
just it's like, you do not respect me clearly, so I'm not going to 100% your game.
Yeah, you need like 10,000 kills in multiplayer or something.
Yeah,
insane.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
get out of here. So I try to only like I try to look at the thing on true achievements where it's like how many hours does it take to complete, and if it's like the most I try not to go over like 40 to 50 hour or something. Even though maybe. What is Halo?
I don't know. I feel like I'm already at like 40 hours of gameplay in that one.
Yeah, but this one's different because it's so co-op heavy as an experience for us anyways. It could totally be done solo, but like the way Steven and I are playing, we've just been playing co-op. That to me is more acceptable in terms of spending time playing it, because I don't feel like I'm just wasting time if I'm hanging out with a friend, you know?
Sure, yeah.
It's a more acceptable way to spend your time if you're with a friend, you know?
Not just playing hundreds of hours
yeah, just alone.
on thing. I mean, which like I've done that too.
I've done
So.
that too, yes. You should look at my Sea of Thieves hour count.
Oh man,
it's over 500 hours, which is not good.
I have over 500. I think I have almost 600 hours on Master Chief Collection.
Yeah, I mean, some games just they hook you, and it's becomes maybe unhealthy or something. But yeah, I've been doing that, and then I have to talk about maybe after the topic. I'm not sure, but actually the topic that we're talking about is a good one related to a show I just watched. I have to talk about this show.
Okay.
So, but I'm not sure if we should go into the topic first because basically,
well, you've already teased it.
I know. I might as well just say. So, have you heard of a show called The Chair Company?
No.
Do you know who Tim Robbins is?
Yeah.
Okay. He's the star. He's the main character of The Chair Company. And I feel like it's relevant to the topic. Not like how we're going to dive in really far or anything like that, but just in terms of a show like nothing I've ever seen. This show was truly unique, I think, and impossible to predict. And I thought it was great.
Interesting.
Minus a few gripes, which I always have, but like minus a few gripes. Like there was actually a point in episode 1. I started watching. I just like heard of this show. It looked interesting. I was like, "What is this? What is this show?" This makes it's just everything about the show felt so baffling to me. I didn't know what to think about it, and that just piques my interest and my curiosity. And so I started watching episode 1, and it got to a point actually really early in the episode where I was like, okay, if literally one more thing pisses me off, I'm turning the show off and I'm never going back. But so it started off slightly rough just because of a few personal gripes I had, but I made it to the catalyst moment. And I can say this without spoiling anything about the show. Actually, I could probably explain 3 full episodes of the show and not spoil anything about the show because it's just so insane. Like you just do not know where this show is going. And I found it to be, well, anyways, the catalyst of the show, basically, to explain, is Tim Robbins plays just this guy at this corpo place that does a bunch of stupid corpo stuff that who cares about, you know. He's like a park planner or like a layout planner of like they're building a park basically.
So it's Parks and Rec. Just kidding.
Yeah, I mean, sure, without the government angle or something. But like he's just the project manager and he just got the role and he passed up like one other guy for it and whatever. He gets this role, he gets up on stage, he gives a speech because they're kicking off the project and he's like, "Hello everyone. Corpo speak. It's going to be so great. It's going to change your life, this park." And then he does well in the speech, but then basically this chair malfunctions in the presentation. Like it malfunctions when he sits in it and it breaks and it like kind of ruins the moment for him. And he becomes very obsessed with that happening. He's very upset by it. He's like mad at it, and he's like he looks into the chair company. Basically, he's like, I can't believe it. There's something going on here, and it's insane. Like it doesn't make sense, but like he looks into it, and he actually does figure out that there is something weird about the chair company.
Oh man!
And from there, it just like totally begins unraveling in this fascinating mystery. That's like odd, dark, kind of creepy at times, and then but also the show is hysterical. Like it is actually a hilarious show.
Interesting.
Very bizarre humor. I swear I've never seen anything quite like it. It's just every time I was like, oh, they're going to do this thing. Oh, they're setting up this thing because I've seen it 1,000 times. And then they just don't do that at all. And they go a completely different direction. And the show moves really, it's got great pacing, like really keeps you engaged just the whole time. And yeah, it was honestly, it was a delight. I think it was so much fun. I binged like the whole thing in 2 nights because the episodes are kind of short too. It's only 8 episodes.
Are they all out already?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think it's on HBO. That's where I watched it. I needed a break from Boardwalk Empire because those episodes are quite long. There's 5 seasons. Every time it's like watching a whole movie. I mean,
oh geez,
it's a great show. I'm still watching it. I'm still liking it, but I needed just a break, and this was a great pick for that because it moves fast. It's hilarious, and it was very refreshing in every sense of the word. Like I just haven't seen. This show was so weird in a great way. It was very weird and very original.
That's great. Yeah, we've been watching the latest season of Silo, which I still think is a great show. It's on Apple TV. It's so good. We really like the show. Season 3 every season has had like a new element that just feels like distinctly like there's a relevant new problem that changes kind of the dynamic of some of the stuff.
All right.
So we're about halfway through Silo, and we really like that show. It's great.
Is it a like government conspiracy kind of show?
There's pieces of that.
I'm just looking. I'm purely interpreting based off of the images that show up on Google Images.
Okay,
when I search the show.
So there's elements of that, but they don't really come into play until season 3 right now.
Okay,
and it kind of is flashing back between the events of what's happening in the silo right now. The general thing is something happened that made the world apocalyptic, but some entity built these underground silos for society to survive. And so there's like 140 floors or something in the silo, and it's like huge. There's like 10,000 people that live in each silo, something like that. There's, sorry, I shouldn't dig into. I mean, season 1 has been out for years now, but there is season 3 now is kind of bouncing back and forth between elements of kind of like our modern day, but it's still like a little bit futuristic. Like it's mostly our time, modern day.
Yeah.
And then what's going on in the silo as well. So that's been interesting this season. But that involves some government conspiracy stuff.
Sure.
But it doesn't come into play until this season at all. So like the first 2 seasons are entirely about like society. This new society in the silo. You're like, how does this silo operate?
Yeah.
What are things they have to do to keep it functional? In an intriguing way. And then season 2 introduces new things about what could happen when it doesn't go well in a silo. Anyway, so
sure.
There's
sounds good.
Yeah, it's great. I like it a lot. I've still just been rewatching like The Office, just because that's just my like.
That's still just
right
on Peacock, right?
Yeah.
I do not have Peacock. That's the only problem.
I have it bundled with my Apple TV right now, so it was like an extra $2 a month to add Peacock to my Apple TV. So I was like,
you can't say no to that.
No, I mean, I'll spend more money because
yeah.
We also we watched the Super Mario Bros. Movie with the kids and they loved that. That was on Peacock. So there's a decent amount on there. So those are like the 2 services I have right now.
Yeah. I have Amazon and HBO. That's what I've got right now.
Yeah.
When I'm finished though with Boardwalk Empire, I may look and see like just a show that I'd be interested in, and see if it's on something else, because I could always
Yeah.
just switch the HBO to something else.
Yeah, we'll probably get like Amazon, get Prime Video again, probably like the new year, because the Rings of Power season comes out, like new season comes out, end of the year. I still like that show a lot.
I'm-
But there's
I didn't say
several
anything.
shows. You didn't have to. There's like several shows that have had new seasons that were like we want to check out, but we've just been waiting for some to pile up and
Yeah,
watch all the things we're currently watching.
yeah.
And then we started watching The Big Short last night.
Oh, I've seen that.
Yeah, there's so many big name actors in that movie. It's ridiculous.
Hold on, let me make sure it's the one I.
It's about like the housing market.
Yes,
where they like short the housing market.
It's actually it's really good.
We watched from the first half. I really like it. It's so good.
Really good. I love a lot of the roles are really good. Obviously, Steve Carell is good in it, and Ryan Gosling is really funny in it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I remember really liking it, and plus it's a really good, I don't know, snapshot into the chaos and nightmare of that situation, and a window into how all of us ended up getting screwed because like nothing ever fully went back to a good state after that. You could say.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very Christian Bale is incredible as like one of the main roles.
Yeah. Doesn't he also Yeah. Cause is that the movie where he goes and like lets off steam by banging on drums?
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just in this like corporate office wearing like no shoes and like blasting music and like drumming in there. Yeah, that's been good. And then the most recent thing, literally like right before recording this podcast, I went and took the kids to go see the new Paw Patrol movie that I'm sure everyone is really excited about.
Oh my gosh.
Which surprisingly, I actually really enjoyed it. So, this is like the third Paw Patrol movie they've done, and so it's like much better quality than like the show is. This one's the Dino movie, so there's dinosaurs. It was very fun. The kids, just like my daughter, was just in the seat next to me and just like freaking out anytime there was like an intense scene or there's like a volcano, and she's just like audibly gasping and like curling up in the corner, like, it's intense. What's happening?
Good.
It's so interesting to see like these like visceral reactions to these.
That's good. And the reason I keep saying that is because I can't tell you how many times I've seen a kid, like young kid, who is already so brain fried that nothing shocks them anymore. Nothing is sensational to them.
Yeah.
They can't react to anything. They're completely desensitized by everything already. So if your kids are reacting in big ways to big moments, you're doing something right.
Sweet.
So.
All right.
There you go.
Ralph stamp of approval.
Yeah.
It was fun. I had to keep telling them to like, guys, be quiet, because they're like, whoa, do you see that truck? Just like yelling like full volume. I'm like, guys, we're in a movie theater. Like, they just jumped over.
Do you guys go to the movies a lot?
This is the second time
they've gone
ever taken them. Both this summer. We did Toy Story earlier in the summer, and then in this one. I'm
about to go to the movie theater again for the first time in a while with my sister, who wants to go see. She's coming in town this weekend. Tomorrow, I think she'll be in town. And she wants to go see the new Spider-Man movie. I don't give a flip about that, but I'll go see it with her. Whatever. I do not like Tom Holland whatsoever, and I also hate him. I'm not a big fan of Zendaya either, but good Lord, I just do not care. But Tobey Maguire will always be Spider-Man. Screw anything else that exists. But anyways, I'm one of those, right? So, but it'll be fine because I'll be spending time with my sister. That'll be good. So, nice. I'm sure we'll have fun. It'll be good.
Yeah. Hey everyone. So we had to cut the recording from the previous from the first 20 minutes of this episode. I had some scheduling things that I lost track of time on, and I had to bounce pretty quickly there. So it's several days later now that we're recording this, and hence the wardrobe change if you're watching the video. And it's like earlier in the morning, so hence my voice is probably lower as opposed to before. Still got that morning gruffness or whatever it's called. But anyway, so we were finishing talking, or we were talking about the movie theaters, as you just heard, because you were just there listening to that. And Ralph was talking about Spider-Man, which he has now since seen. So I guess that's a little future update. What was your thoughts on it? Just real quick.
Okay, no, I haven't seen it yet. We had to reschedule because yeah, so I'll see it tomorrow night.
Okay, gotcha.
But yeah, we were gonna see it over the weekend, but we ended up like doing a bunch of other stuff with kids, and time went longer than we were thinking, and
gotcha.
You know how it is. So
yeah,
but I'll be seeing it tomorrow night, and I'm really
so excited.
Yeah.
So the thing I wanted to mention about my movie experience, seeing the Paw Patrol Dino movie. Did I mention that? I don't even know if I mentioned that. I went and saw the Paw Patrol.
Oh, right.
Or Paw Patrol the Dino movie. Saw it with my kids. Their second movie theater experience. It was very fun. I enjoyed the movie. Best Paw Patrol movie yet, which there's like 3 of them. Anyway, but we watched the previews, as you do beforehand. And this thing like caught my attention. Literally 3 trailers in a row just kind of felt like the same movie. And I thought this was very relevant to our conversation about originality today. But it also felt, I guess I've got two sides of my thoughts on these. So the trailers, I can't remember the name of the first movie. It's an animated movie. Seems like they took inspiration from Spider-Verse in terms of like some of the stylization and like jumping between different styles, which was pretty cool. And it's an animated movie about these 2 like girls that are about to go to college, and like, but then one is going to a different college further away, and so they're like, oh, we have to have one last, fun night out. And so they do this stuff, and then ended up getting like sucked into this portal to another realm. And like while they're there, they like, if they stay too long, they'll start losing their memory. So like sucked into this portal, and they have to find their way back home, and to make everything okay again.
Okay.
Animation style, it's irrelevant right now, but it looks cool. It was like classic kind of 3D, but then it like had more different effects, like into the Spider-Verse kind of stuff. And then there's one character telling like a flashback, and it was just like full like cartoon anime like styling. I don't know, it was cool. Anyway, the next movie was the CoComelon movie, apparently, which is a thing, which is like the worst kids TV show ever.
Yeah. It started as a YouTube thing, right? Wasn't it?
Maybe.
YouTube?
I don't really know.
I only know because of the CoComelon Pootie Pie War that happened however many years ago. Which was funny.
I don't know about that. I'll look it up later. Anyway, this CoComelon movie, these 4 like toddlers find this old toy box, and then they look through these toys, and then they get sucked into a portal to another realm that's like Toyland or something, and has all these old toys in there, and then they have to find their way back home.
I'm noticing a pattern.
The third movie was a Cat in the Hat movie.
Okay.
Where he works for this, Cat in the Hat works for this like organization. He's supposed to bring fun, but he keeps like going like too far and messing the stuff up. I was like the books are like kind of extreme, like the classic Cat in the Hat book. So in this movie, he's trying to like, prove himself or like help people like have fun. And there's this like the single mom with 2 kids that moved, and she's like, I want to go back home. Cat in the Hat shows up, tries to bring joy, and like he's got this time thing that makes him go back in time. And she's like, I want to use that to go back to before we moved. And so she does something, they fight over it, it like falls into some of their moving boxes and creates portals to another realm. And so then they have these portals to the realm that are going through her memories. So it's like several things that are like portals dealing with memories and them needing to find their way back home.
Oh my gosh.
Like these were back to back, all three of these. I'm just like, am I the only one that thinks these are just the same movie with different skins on them?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was really interesting.
It is.
So my first thought is like, I've heard this thing before where like someone has an idea and then they make it, and then there's like, for some reason, several like things of the same concept come out at the same time. And like there's a thing where like, oh, like pirates were like popular, and then like several pirate movies came out at the same time, and like it's just like all these weird things that like almost someone like asked the same person like, oh, what's going to be popular in 3 years when this comes out? Like, oh, like trying to get back home, portals to another realm, and then like
there's an element of that. I would say in the entertainment world there is an element of there are higher ups and they green light certain things for various reasons, and then things are made, and then you have the initial wave, and then you have people capitalizing off of the popularity of that wave. So it feels like it usually it keeps going until everyone is just sick of it, and then there's a new thing. Like zombies have seen a wave. There have been like medieval fantasies saw a wave. It's been too long since that's happened, though. I feel like we get no good medieval fantasies anymore.
Do you think the Odyssey kind of counts as that? It's not quite medieval, but
that's like
it's not medieval, it's Greek.
It is. I mean, it is kind of that fantasy with swords and knights and kind of like ancient lore. But that's more like what would that be? Revisiting like classic literature. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what, but definitely has a medieval coat of paint either way.
Right.
But
yeah. So that was one thought of like, interesting that three things with similar like concepts come out.
Yeah.
My counterpoint to my own argument is like, there's three things with the same general idea that will probably all give very different experiences. Like the main points will probably be all the same. They establish we're friends, we're here doing stuff. Something happens. Here's a portal. We're stuck. We need to solve our problems and get back.
Yeah.
But each with like a different coat of paint, like you were saying. But I feel like the other point that we were kind of hinting at earlier at the beginning of the podcast was like this myth of originality. And I think we talked about it. Maybe it was off air.
No, I think we touched upon it a little bit.
But like, if you tell the same story as someone else from your unique point of view, then it becomes a different story. So even though some of the main points are about the same, and you might get some similar things happening, there's different characters, different environments that's happening here, and like maybe even some slightly different messaging on like what events actually transpire. So I thought this was really relevant to talking about originality, and so I wanted to get your thoughts on like this literally covers like both sides of the coin of originality. Like, one, can anything actually be original? Is everything just an iteration of something else or a combination of several things? And then two, like, does that matter? Because if you and I, like, say we took like WALL-E and like you made a story and you wrote it, you drew it out about WALL-E, and I did my stories, like they would come out very differently. It'd be, if you had like from the conception of the character, we would have different characters and they would be different ways that we portray, even if it's the same like breakfast kingdom, breakfast food place, like we would probably show those in different ways and have like different things. Like what are your thoughts on some of this just in general?
Well, it's a big question. I think I would say the pursuit to be just original isn't necessarily that important. I think the more important thing should be telling a story that you do want to tell, and then B, telling a story that is well told and putting effort into it. Because we've seen stories that are super original, or like they strive for originality and they try to be like super different, and then or like a concept or something that's like fresh and new, but it's just like it's not even well done, and it could come across gimmicky. It could come across as like weird just for the sake of being weird, and then there's no actual purpose to it, and there's no like satisfactory through line or anything like that. But yeah, telling a story that might not be totally original, but that's told super well is great. Like I think see, we have to make the distinction between an original story versus original IP, perhaps. I hate putting it in corporate terms like that, but these days you kind of do, because there's like classic narrative structure, and then
like
what
the hero's journey and stuff, like
right. And then there's what you apply it to. I think we certainly see far too often these days that people just take something that is pre-established, pre-existing, like the Cat in the Hat, for instance, and then just a story tacked onto it, and half the time they like hate the author or the original work in some way, and so the only point of it is to subvert it and turn it into something else, or to like optimize it for modern audiences or something like that, which is so boorish. Like, why can you not just come up with your own trash idea? I mean, like, because my skeptical brain is like, well, you know that your idea is bad, so you take the idea and you put it onto something that it has a pre-existing audience, so that people come and see it anyways.
Wasn't that the case with like the Halo show?
Yes.
Wasn't it like there was one of the main writers or somebody like where they were trying to get their own show going for so long, and that wasn't working, and then they got on this, so they just kind of like turned it into what they wanted it to be a little bit.
Yeah, and you could even apply that across the game series. 343 was comprised of a development studio that did not like Halo. They specifically got people on board that did not like Halo and were not fans, which may be the most asinine idea I've ever heard of in my life.
I get part of it to be like, bring people that aren't, and not to that extent, not to like people that hate Halo should be working on it, but like to get people that aren't like, if they want something, I don't know, not necessarily fresh, or just something like to push the boundaries, like you almost need to be outside of the bubble of knowing everything about it. But I think it does go too far if you're like, you actively don't like it, and you're just like, well, then you're not going to contribute anything helpful to this. You're going to try to change it in ways that are not going to go well, which is what happened. So
exactly what happened.
Yeah.
So I mean, there needs to be at least a respect for the original work, or a reverence for it.
Yeah.
I would say that's probably an important component, but yeah, I think, but even the devil's advocate route of like, oh, well, I mean, it helps to have a fresh perspective. Look, if you're a fresh team, why can you not just do something new, like something original? Like, there's no, and the answer is obvious. It's money. It's because it just is hard to get stuff off the ground that is fresh and original. It just is, like, because I've seen a lot of really good stuff that is high quality, and I'm thinking in terms of gaming. That like, I'm like, this game is very cool, and I like it a lot, and no one has ever heard of it, and I'm the only one who plays it, and it almost certainly lost money. Like, so I get it.
Wasn't there one? There was like some like 2D platformer game, Signalis. Is that one that you're thinking of?
Man, Signalis is great. I'd have to look at the numbers. I don't remember if that one like financially failed, but if anything deserves to have more of It deserves all of the praise and money ever. Despite aside from, I think my only gripe with it was, like, my only critique of this game was that it may have been slightly too easy, and
Really?
then it referenced so many things,
Hmm.
like, that I had to question at some point, when do you cross the line between,
Being
like,
a parody and being the
homage,
original. Oh, yeah.
paying homage versus being uh what's the word? Shoot.
Like a parody? Is that what you're talking about? Like being a parody of something? Or
Shoot.
no?
There's a word.
Of
A
like,
derivative.
oh, yeah, okay.
There's the word. Like, paying homage versus being derivative, because it seriously referenced, like, straight up so many things, to the point where I was just like, man, this every moment reminds me of something else, you know?
Hmm.
But the work as a whole, I think, still introduced enough of its own tone and its
Okay.
own style and its own beats and locations, and it did its own things with it, to the point where I'm like, you know what? I can forgive it. So I'm just saying, that's my only gripe.
Sure.
Those two things are, like, my only gripes. Otherwise, honestly, it was a perfect game. Like literally, I can't praise it enough. It was so good.
So that you'd say
But
that
yeah,
was,
but
even though it has like elements of, well, okay, so Signalis, like, let's use that as an example right now. What can, like, looking at it from a design perspective, what about it is original, and what about it, like, can you see took influence from other games or things outside of like references of things like that? But like, what makes it original? But like, can you also see influences from other games or things like that? Whether it's
yes, I mean, it
gameplay,
certainly,
layout, whatever.
yeah, sure. I mean, it borrows heavily from the classic survival horror template, right?
Okay,
So it is similar in
what's an
how it
example of a
handles, like,
classic one?
Resident Evil, or
Okay, sure.
or Silent Hill. It
Okay,
heavily references Silent Hill. Actually, that's one of the ones that it
okay,
definitely it's straight up levels, or like sections of the game, are like a direct reference to sections of Silent Hill.
okay.
Um, which, again, I'm like, because I love Silent Hill, and it's cool if you pick up on these things. Like,
Yeah.
if you pick up on what it's referencing, it kind of is cool. It's just does it so frequently. Like, but anyways, so it pulls from the design template of classic survival horror. So Resident Evil, Silent Hill are the super obvious ones. um and um Inventory management, how it kind of, how the game progresses. Also, the psychological element of it is very, very in line with, like, Silent Hill 2,
Okay.
where you're dealing with, like, a tormented soul, and the character you're playing as, you sort of question whether some of the stuff in the game is literal. In fact, well, I won't get into spoilers, because if you haven't played it, you have to play it. It's so good.
It's been on my wish list since you told me about it like
Dude,
years ago.
yeah. I would also say, if it's not like, if because you're not a huge fan of horror, but, like, it's not so horrifying that you can't play it. It's just very, it can get tense, and there are moments of, like,
Yeah.
anxiety, and you have to, like, survive, basically. But it's a great game. And the art style is, I would say the art style is one of the areas that it, I think, nails in terms of setting itself apart. I
Okay.
mean, it definitely borrows from certain things, like, does the pixel kind of old school PlayStation 1 low poly aesthetic,
Yeah.
but it does it so well, and it keeps its palette consistent, and it keeps its tone, like, it's so good at tone, and its level design and layout and the interesting puzzles. Every puzzle was a joy to kind
Okay.
of work through. I love that. Like there are
Yeah.
moments in survival horror, because I'm a big survival horror fan, that the puzzles are kind of they can become a weak spot.
Sure.
But for this one, I honestly it was a joy to like decipher what it was trying to do. It
Yeah.
made I never felt like, oh, I'm so I wish I wasn't working on this puzzle. It was always like fun to kind of work through the puzzle and kind of figure out the mechanics of the game. One super original aspect of the game, at least in terms of my experience, what because I'm limited to what I know, but like something I had never seen before was how it used a tool. There's a thing that you get at one point in the game. It's like this frequency reader machine, like this little thing that you can read frequencies. You can point it at stuff. You can operate it alongside like other things for signal reading.
Okay.
Um,
Signalis. Signal.
Signalis,
There we
sure.
go.
Right. It is kind of a central tool, and it ties into a lot of puzzles. And the way that it used that was a very kind of fresh game mechanic that was fun to engage
That's
with
cool.
and sort of experiment with.
Yeah.
And there were certain things about the art style that I felt were just a cool choice. Like the characters don't have feet. They just have like
Interesting.
they end in little stumps, and
I wonder
I
if
don't
that
know.
was a like the artist wasn't good at making feet.
Maybe, or maybe there's some deep meaning to like they don't have feet. I don't know. I don't know.
I know.
But
Quick little
like,
tangent. There's this game dev studio I like that they like three brothers, butterscotch shenanigans. I've talked about them to you before, at least. They some of their earlier games, like one of the brothers like learned art for their studio, and like at the beginning, like couldn't draw hands, and so
yeah,
he made their like one of their earlier games was called Quadrupus Rampage or something,
okay,
and so it's like an octopus but with four tentacles, and mainly because like he couldn't draw hands, and so he just drew like
four
tentacles.
That works.
And so that was like kind of it became part of the lore, and like all these, and like also drawing 8 feet would have been like a lot. So anyway, some of these like earlier things, the game design was based around their abilities that they like what they could do, which I thought was kind of funny too.
Yeah.
But, okay,
So I mean,
oh yeah, finish your thoughts, and then I've got another question on that.
okay, yeah. Well, that's mostly that's the gist of it. I would say the story and how deep you can read into it if you wish. Like how deep you can go down the rabbit trail of what it is, what the meaning of the game is, goes just way beyond what most games do, and or most media does. And you can tell that the guys making it, they're not your typical storytellers. Like they reference stuff like the House of Leaves, which and the King in Yellow, which are just that type of story that is deep and you can read into it a lot.
I don't know either of those things.
Well, doesn't matter really, but
okay.
But they're just very odd. Like the House of Leaves is a book that is written in a very meta fashion, and like it's basically about, I'm sure you've heard references to it without like directly explicitly saying, oh, this is the House of Leaves, because people do that all the time. It's like the concept, I think the catalyst of the story is basically this guy moves into a house and he realizes that when he takes measurements of the inside of his house, it's larger than is physically possible based off of the outside of his house, like based on the measurements of it doesn't add up. And so he keeps digging at that idea, and it takes him down the path to insanity, basically. And the book is even written in an insane way. Like pages of the book are written like, I don't know, upside down or in different formats than the next page, and like all over the place, and nuts. But
very interesting.
So they reference stuff like that in in Signalis, and they heavily reference The King in Yellow, which is an old like fairy tale fantasy.
Okay.
I've never read The King in Yellow though, so I only know kind of a few things about it.
Sure.
But yeah, you can just tell that they're out there types of storytellers. So that's a really cool component of the game if you care enough to dive that deep into it.
Yeah. Okay, so looking at this like in the vein of other similar titles, like survival horror games have been done. There are games like you mentioned, Silent Hill, Resident Evil, that have done survival horror games.
Mm-hmm.
And so like you could just look at it and be like, oh, it's another survival horror game. But for some reason we don't always I mean, okay, there's I'm looking at this from like a broader perspective. If you look on Netflix, there's a million action spy movies, or not even Netflix, just everywhere that have been made. Action spy shows. Jack Reacher, Jack Ryan, Jack. I don't know. Jack Bauer in 24. They're not spies on all those, but like, there's so many like shows or things in the same genre, but they never. I mean, they might feel original, like derivative at some point, but like people who like that genre just want more of that genre. So they want like a unique take on that. So if you're like, oh, it's another survival horror game, but you're into those, it's like, okay, I get another survival horror game. And on top of that, this one has unique, like interesting puzzles, unique mechanics, like all these other cool things that like you would enjoy. So
and
like,
it builds its own world too. It doesn't just take a world that already existed.
So like I feel like if you're trying to make something original, I would you in very broad terms, would you say this game is pretty original?
Yes.
Yeah. Even though it references other things, it uses similar things. So like, and it has a genre that exists already. Like you don't need to invent your own genre of story, of book, or anything like that. I think it's just interesting to see. There's so many pieces of like media and things that repeat each other in different ways or live in the same vein that can still feel different and unique. And so I started this saying I wasn't going to try to give any advice or anything, and I don't want to do that. But for some reason, that's just the vein I go down. Yeah. I'd say if you are creating something, don't worry about trying to be so original that like you can't have. It has to be the most brand new thing ever, because you could maybe there's still room out there for that, but like telling things from a unique perspective is enough. A unique perspective or having unique elements, whether it's a unique art style, if there's visuals, whether it's like a unique setting, if it's like a story or like a world. I think there's so many things that make a book, so many elements that come into making a game or a show or a movie that like you can have an original piece, original I can't think of the word, like an original output by either combining different things or like creating some unique element, even if other things kind of feel like original. Yeah, I don't know.
And I think that also, if you have a pure mission, and like that's a good thing to also pair with not worrying about being original, right? Because if your mission, like think about what you're making, because it depends. Are you making a video game? Are you making a book? Are you making a movie? Or something else? What else? A board game? Whatever.
Yeah.
What's the mission? Okay, so if you're making a game, your mission should be that it's fun.
Yeah.
And that and then if you want to make something fun and you are passionate about it and you have some of your own ideas, so it will be original on some level. You're not just like, oh, well, Hollow Knight was really good, so I just literally want to do that again, and just kind of what would you asset flip it or something,
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, if you actually care, if you're passionate, you would start developing your own world or whatever. But the mission is that it's fun, like, and probably not glitchy, and it's tightly
Yeah.
developed, all that stuff,
Quality.
finished.
You want
Yes,
quality and
and
enjoyment.
yes, and if you're making a movie, well, what kind of movie is it? Is it a comedy? Well, then it should be funny.
Yeah.
Or is it a horror movie? Well, it should be scary. Or maybe you want to do a combination of tones. That's risky, but like the show I talked about earlier
Yeah.
does reference that, like the Chair Company, which kind of mixes up mystery, intrigue, horror, and comedy.
Which
And it
is the
actually
thing that you said made it unique.
yeah,
It
it
was
pulls
done
it
well,
off.
but it's like it's a risky
It
proposition.
is so
Yeah.
risky, and very few, I think, are capable. But the reason I'm pounding in like the mission. What is the goal of what you're making? Is because I really think a lot of people get lost in not making something fun, or not focusing on horror, or whatever the case may be, but instead focusing on being like trying to send a message or something.
Yeah.
I hate.
Yeah.
Please
Well, I mean,
do not
and
do that.
there's the
You are
thing then,
not the
like,
authority figure on anything.
if they're trying to like make a point, send a message, that's their mission. And they're using this as like a delivery message, a
Yeah, but
delivery
if
platform.
I will not
And
give someone that allowance if they are not even a good person in the first place.
well, that's true. But even so, like if they don't actually care, like so say like they've got some message and they put it out in a comedy movie. People who like comedy movies aren't necessarily going to enjoy that because you're not focusing on like who the audience is. You're just trying to get your message out and using some other thing as a delivery method.
Right.
Like, yeah. I think my last point would, or my last reference, I guess, is like what I'm working on, which is Wally the Waffle story, the Maplemore Tales, which is like a fantasy adventure set in a breakfast world. My original idea, like Wally was the logo for a company that that we had before, and I started working on like a video game with my brother. And so we're like, oh, let's just make like a silly waffle game based on the mascot that we have. And so I started down the trail of like, oh, let's make it like an old like Zelda fantasy adventure thing. And so that was kind of like the core of the original idea of this world. It was like fantasy adventure, like Zelda and you know things in that vein. And so as I started doing that with the world, like the idea of it was very much like, oh, there's going to be different dungeons and things and stuff because it was going to be just like a silly like trial game to get to know how to do stuff, how to make things and make that. And so, but then as I started like building it out, the world started kind of creating its own unique identity as I kept exploring it more and building more of it. And so then when I started like into the book side of things and writing stories based on this world, which is going to be like the first piece of the world that comes out, it was still like, okay, I want that like feeling of a fantasy adventure, but set in this breakfast world for kids. So like, how do I have that same kind of experience as like you would from like a Zelda type story, but in a different environment? And so that creates this unique thing. And then as I explored that more, it kind of starts having its own voice, having its own, like identity and stuff. So even though it started kind of from some ideas of things that I like, it then, you know, developed into something unique. So
Yeah. Well, I think it has to. You have
yeah,
to be inspired by something. We've all lived and we've all seen things, and some things appeal to us and
yeah,
some things we're not interested in as much. And so that, and some of it's personality driven and how you were raised and all that stuff. So, but yeah, it has to start somewhere. And so I think it's okay, perfectly okay, to take inspiration and kind of reference and think about stuff that you enjoy and think about
yeah,
what you care about and what your unique set of circumstances have led you to be interested in creating, and what your skill set also kind of supports. So, and my message, by the way, also would apply to myself. I would also adhere to that same, like, if I was going to make a book or something, the goal of the book would be the goal of the book, not the goal of
pushing an agenda.
Me pushing something that doesn't make any sense, or that doesn't fit, that isn't appropriate for the story. It would just be like, make a satisfying story that feels a certain way. Maybe it has a message, it probably, you need stakes and you need a takeaway of some kind.
Yeah.
But I guess I don't like the Cat in the Hat example you were saying earlier, where they just take a classic story and then they bring in the modern day and throw in portals to places, and I don't know, it feels like it ends up diluting the original work. And
you're right. There's some pieces, like, they still bring in a lot of the same core elements of, like, the fish that is, like, skeptical of everything the cat's doing and mad at him, and, like, all the thing 1 and thing 2 and all that stuff too. So, like, they just have different, it's like a different setting, so it brings some of the same thing. Yeah. Anyway, but it's like a modern take.
Right.
Maybe it does dilute the original.
Right. And I always just think, like, if you're going to totally change it, why not do it? But then my cynical side is like, well, the answer is money. The answer is always money. But creating original works is hard, I think, because it's hard to get traction. It's harder because you're not really working from a template necessarily. You're building something. You have to craft the story. You have to fit all the pieces together. You have to make it make sense. And you do have to kind of think of what the takeaway is, and it should be internally logical with the story and be valuable. Like, it should have maybe inherent value. If you're making art, if you're making a game, the value would come from how fun it is.
Yeah.
If you're making a story, a book, the value, like your book, for instance, would be, is it good for kids? Is it a story that they would find entertaining? Oh, and this reminds me, actually. Yesterday, one of the things I did was I haven't done this ever in my life, but I read a children's book to my niece before nap time so that she could go to sleep. They're to that age, basically, where like they do stuff like that. And that was very fun. And so I got to read a whole children's book, and
there you go.
It gave me, that was cool.
We'll get Wally out, and so you can
Wally,
read that to them next time.
Yeah, exactly. So, like, that would be the value of something like that. So, yeah.
Cool. Well, that's all the time we got for this episode. So, sorry about the weird cut in the middle. Weird change of pace right in the middle there. But thanks for joining us in this episode. If you want to connect with us on Discord, ask us questions, anything like that, you can find a link at our website, seebeasts.com. SEE beasts.com. Yeah, thanks again for being here, and we'll see you all next time.
All right, see you guys.
Bye.